This is the best video that you are going to watch of how to generate yield on your ETH. If you're bullish and if you are bullish on ETH and BTC and you don't want to sell it, but you just hold it in your wallet, you're losing great opportunities because this yield can generate income for you. It could be income in forms of dollars or more ETH that can be accumulated. And once ETH even appreciates more in price, you will have more ETH. So in this video, I will show you step by step which strategy, it's an advanced DeFi strategy that I use to generate income and yield on my ETH, and I am able to generate more than 100% APR on yield. Now, this is not this kind of straightforward strategies that everyone are talking about in YouTube. That's not what you will find in this channel. In this channel, you're gonna find only alpha special strategies that I came up with and I myself am using. And of course, nothing here is a financial advice. I'm just sharing my experience and my DeFi knowledge with you. And if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with a baseline and definition of the strategy. The definition of the strategy and the baseline is that we want to be long on ETH. We don't want to sell ETH, but at the same time, we want to generate yield on this ETH. So this is the first thing. So if you have ETH in your wallet, you can use this strategy to generate income, and this yield is going to be working for you. This strategy involves lending and borrowing and also liquidity farming. So you're essentially shorting one asset on the way, and you're exposed to the short position of this asset, but you're going to balance this short position with the liquidity pool and the fluctuation that happens in the liquidity pool of this asset with ETH. And in this strategy, we're going to short the OP token. OP is the token of the Optimism network. Now, why I found this strategy to work so well for me in the last few weeks is because this token is the most bearish token I've ever seen, because the tokenomics is quite weird, I would say. I don't know what is the utility of this OP token. Essentially, you pay fees in Optimism with ETH anyways, and the OP token, all they do is just to mint this OP token and give grants and give incentives to people. So I don't know what is the incentive is where the buying power comes from, but this token literally goes down all the time, especially if you pair it with ETH. So if you compare ETH to OP, usually OP depreciates in time compared to ETH. Now, let's say, okay, we have a bull market and all the market goes up and OP goes up in price. You don't care because you short OP in front of ETH. And if the whole market is up, ETH is going to probably be up and going to appreciate more than OP. And in the long term, I just found that OP is always just a bad asset and ETH just performs way better, or any other asset performs way better than OP. Yeah, you are shorting OP, but you are shorting it in front of ETH to generate this yield. And you can literally see, I just said it. I mean, I just went to the graph of the last 24 hours and OP lost 30% in value. If you go to the 7 days, you can also see how it depreciates in price. You can also open the OP compared to ETH graph. The 1 year performance is horrible considering we are in a hyper bullish market. OP is just performing really bad. So I don't mind shorting it. And also I'm shorting it in front of ETH and not in front of US dollars. So the way this strategy is going to work is that we go to Aave. Aave is a lending protocol where you can deposit collateral and then borrow assets against this collateral, and we're going to take our ETH and supply it here to the Optimism market. On the Optimism blockchain on Aave, we will take our ETH and deposit here in Aave. Now, once you deposit this ETH, you can borrow tokens in exchange for this ETH, and we're going to borrow this OP token. And what we're essentially doing by depositing Ethereum and borrowing OP, we are shorting kind of OP against Ethereum. So we have a debt open with OP tokens and we have a position collateral open with ETH. So if OP goes in price, then our debt grows, and if ETH goes up in price, also our collateral grows. So you always want to monitor it and see that OP doesn't just appreciate significantly compared to ETH, and we don't have like a green dildo with OP, because in that case you might be liquidated because your OP debt will increase in price compared to your collateral. But again, what I told you is that usually they go up in price together, and sometimes it even appreciates more. And when we have downtrends in the market, when the market is crashing, usually OP crashes way more than ETH, because you can see here that OP crashed 13% in the last 24 hours, unlike ETH that went down only 8.6%. So in such day, your position is profitable because OP lost more value than ETH. This is the first step of this position. In the last year alone, billions in crypto have been stolen. Imagine logging into your wallet and seeing everything gone just like that. Stop risking it. A ledger-hardened wallet stores your keys offline, safe from hackers and phishing attacks. No constant anxiety, no sleepless nights, wondering if you and your funds are next. Take back control, protect your DeFi and crypto assets before it's too late. Get your ledger today with my special discount link in the description below. Now we're gonna take these OP tokens that you just borrowed and you're gonna open a liquidity position in Velodrome. Velodrome was one of the biggest decentralized exchanges on Optimism, and it offers great yields for positions when you provide liquidity. So I'm just gonna go here to the liquidity, search for OP, sort by APR, and you can see that you can literally generate 3,144% APR for wrapped ETH OP position. This is insane. This is insane. It's actually way more than 100% at what I promised you in the beginning of the video. It's insane yield. We will calculate the numbers soon and we'll see how much net yield you're gonna generate on your net capital, the one that you started with, the ETH, but this is crazy APR over here. So what I usually do, I take this OP that I just borrowed here from Aave and I just sell some of it to wrapped ETH and then open here a concentrated liquidity strategy. And the cool thing is that it's even concentrated stable. It's not even volatile. So essentially, Velodrome platform treat these two assets as stable. They are very close in their movement, in their price action. And you just deposit here your liquidity position of wrapped ETH and OP, and then generate this insane yield on the OP that you borrowed. Now, bear in mind that I usually borrow just 50% of value for my collateral because I don't want to get liquidated. So if I deposit like $10,000 worth of ETH, I will borrow $5,000 worth of OP tokens to make sure my position here in Aave is healthy, which also means that you're going to generate this yield only on $5,000 on 50% of your capital, but you don't care because this yield is insane. Another thing to bear in mind is that yield that they are showing here is a bit misleading because it's a concentrated liquidity position and you're going to generate this yield. This is the maximum yield if your range is very small. In my experience, I usually divide it by 3 or 4 and get a nice range. So it's not going to be 3K, but it will be 1K, but it's still insane. Even 1K on 50% of your capital. It's crazy. It's like 500% APR on your capital. Now remember that also this position here in Aave is going to generate for you around 2.5% yield if you follow my instructions, because your collateral is going to be 2 times in size than your debt. And also the APR here is 2 times in size than the debt. So in my experience, I also generate 2.5% APY net on my ETH on Aave, plus this insane ETH on Velodrome. Now let's go to the spreadsheet and calculate the numbers. So let's say you have 10 ETH in capital that you want to use for this strategy. So you deposit this 10 ETH in Aave, then you borrow around 10,000 OP tokens and you essentially short it because it's a debt, you own these tokens. You generate this 2.5% APY net on Aave, which I don't even count in the numbers when I calculate the net APY. And this is your loan to value, which means how much money you borrowed compared to how much money you deposited to Aave, which is quite safe, around 54%. Okay, so now that we shorted this OP on Aave, we're gonna take this OP and open a liquidity position with these OP tokens on Velodrome. So 10,000 OP tokens are equivalent to approximately $18,000, and the average APR is approximately 1000%, because in the narrowest range is 3000%. I assume that it will have a bit bigger range, so it will be a bit less, around 1K APR, which is insane. Let's say your principal ETH is 10. Here you can track your current ETH. So as time passes, you can submit here numbers and you can see how much ETH you have. But the net APR on the principal without, I'm not even counting the Aave APY, which is because it's just so low compared to this APR, it's 544% APR, which is 1.5% per day on your position. This is insane. This is crazy yields, and with this amount of 10 ETH, you're generating $500 per day. Now again, bear in mind that this APR fluctuates and it really depends on trading volume. Probably there was a lot of volume in the last day, so that's why it's crazy like that. You know, this APR is insane. It's a lot of trading volume going there. But in my experience, it's usually around 200% average APR. So with 200% APR, my position with my range generates around 109% APR, which is still insane. With 10 ETH, you will generate a passive income of $100 per day. You can reinvest it into ETH, so you can use this money just to put it aside, or maybe just buy some ETH and increase your collateral, or maybe buy some OP and pay back your loan, your debt. Yeah, this is just pure alpha strategy that I myself am using, and I wanted to share with you. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I just have some experience for a while in the DeFi market, and I'm an investor. And again, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and of course, like the video so the algorithm will recommend you more high quality DeFi content. I'm just sharing my pure alpha here with you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. Thank you so much for learning with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.